I have left?
You got 2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. Anything particular you want me to hit on? Any particular topic? Otherwise, I'm going to just roam.
Well, you have the floor, so whatever you want to, it's your time, and you have like a minute and 50 seconds left.
All right. I want to. Well, while I've got this opportunity, I really want to thank you. I want to thank Nicholas Blevins for inviting me to speak there tomorrow night. I want to thank the ACLU for doing the right thing, and the dean of your college, your university, I believe his name is Glick, for doing the right thing. I understand that my points of view may not be popular, and some people really hate me, and it's sad. I'm not preaching this hate or this violence. I'm not speaking any differently than the other members of your panel on the radio tonight. And I have to really compliment the University of Nevada to the shame of Harvard University and Columbia University, who have described everything that I've said tonight as hate speech. And I would like someone tomorrow night to bring me proof of what I said tonight or anybody else said here tonight as hate speech. Obviously, I have a big issue with this suppression of free speech, and that's why I brought it up. And I will rest my case now, and it's all yours, Donald.
Sure. I'm going to hand it to Dan, in that case, on his idea solutions.
All right. First, I'm going to go over what's happened to Mr. Gilchrist. I'm really happy you're able to speak on this campus. I think it's a good opportunity for people to hear a different point of view, even if it's not their own. That's how you broaden your mind, and that's what a university is supposed to be for. Now on to how I feel we can somewhat solve, at least my naive perspective on how we can solve the immigration crisis. How I feel we can deal with this is make it a lot faster for people who are skilled workers to come in here immediately. And people who are unskilled workers, we put them on a visa program and we monitor it closely. I think that this is the best way to handle it. On top of that, we need to have better relations with Mexico. Yes. We need to strengthen relations with Mexico. Without that, I feel that all this is for naught.
Absolutely.
I feel that we also need to work on our borders with Canada and our seaport borders. People keep coming in on container ships, and that's, speaking of inhumane, they stay in those container ships for upwards of 30 days with little food or water, and those containers can get over 120 degrees. You have lots of people dying in those containers. And, then you got some poor customs agent who comes through and has to go through, tag all the bodies.
The body bags.
Yes, and bury them. And it's just a sad process that should not have to exist. So this is really how I feel it should be resolved. I didn't need 5 minutes to say it, but there's my little spiel.
Can I add one more thing, please?
Sure.
20 seconds. I want it to be known that I am an avid supporter. The Minuteman Project itself is an avid supporter of Mexican President Felipe Calderón. This is the very first president that I can remember in my lifetime who has taken these criminal cartels by the horns and tried to wrestle them into the ground. He's the very first Mexican president who took seriously the concept of the Mexican dream, and he wants to build it in Mexico. He deserves all the help from the United States of America and from people like me and the rest of us out here to succeed in that. And you'll see this problem resolved without any need for Bureau of Immigration and Customs Enforcement or Border Patrol. And I will rest my case on that.
All right. So we have the solutions on dealing with Mr. Cobb's proposition. And then I'm going to throw this now to same story. We're going to deal with this on the issue of Maritza's proposition on the human concern of this, the fact that we may be missing a fact that some of the policies and some of the solutions we're talking about here have a human element on this. And, let's be honest, they all have to a degree. The fact that we are dealing with people's, lives and human ties and family connections, as well as the fact that this is an issue of internal organization. And I kind of want to hear everyone's ideas of solutions on Maritza's proposition, which, did I sum that up correctly, Maritza?
Yeah, that was right.
On how not to basically, break ties here, or is that correct?
Yeah, you covered it pretty well. I did want to make a comment, though. I don't really see the solution that Mr. Gilchrist offered as probably the best solution. He gave the example of, well, we have 30 million people here picking strawberries, but maybe we just need 30,000. The 30 million wouldn't be here working with jobs if the market wasn't asking for it. There wouldn't be a place for them. So I don't think that was probably the right area to look at. That was
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, right. But thanks for clarifying that. Thank you. Thanks for kind of clarifying that for me. So in that case, I'm going to throw it to Mr. Cobb on that topic.
Yeah, I've tracked this issue, and I rely a lot on a variety of institutions for data, from the far right, the FAIR people, to more centrist groups like Center for Immigration Studies or the Pew Center on Immigration, center right, the Heritage Council on Foreign Relations, a little bit left of center. I've not seen a figure, an estimate on illegals as high as Jim just said of 30 million. I think the more reliable estimates are closer right now to 12 million, and it's quite frankly gone down because the economy in this country is in such sad shape that the demand for the illegal labor has fallen off. And in fact, there's some jokes about remittances coming from Mexico to the U.S. I would also agree with Jim that we need to support President Calderon. I think President Fox allowed he exported a lot of his poverty problems through lax enforcement of the illegals. Boy, I tell you, you come into Mexico illegally from Guatemala, and you're going to be in deep trouble. But they were not very good about assisting on the borders when the illegals were going to come into the United States. A final point on those people that are here illegally. My son introduced a bill in the Nevada legislature looking at the economic cost of illegals, but one of the things that also was in his bill that wasn't recognized, that severe penalties on employers or people who abuse the illegals because they are illegals, don't pay them, lie to them, and there ought to be severe penalties against anybody that exploits the illegal laborers. The bottom line, though, is as much as my heart breaks for people that might be separated, the dominant word here is illegal. If you're here, if you violated the law, you're here illegally, there's going to be consequences.
Okay. And I'll throw it to you, Jim, on Maritza's point, a solution to Maritza's point.
Is that for me,
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
I agree with a good point set forth by Maritza there. However, I'd like to add, this is not a problem that has been fostered strictly by Central America or Mexico. This is with the willingness and the luring of U.S. enterprises, some unscrupulous, morally cheap individuals and businesses, from large corporations to mom-and-pop businesses, who have lured impoverished third world people from all around the country, predominantly from Mexico because of the economic, political, and social carnage down there, especially now with a war going on, lured them into the United States to exploit their talents, which is might be casual labor, it might be arts and crafts, it might be masonry. Exploit them for dirt cheap wages, no benefits, no pension, no vacation plan, no medical services, no dental, no housing credit, nothing. All of that is forced upon the tax-paying, law-abiding public to fund, to put these the children of the illegal aliens into through public schools, to provide HUD subsidies. Of course, Americans get the same thing, but they are American citizens, and there's a big difference in that respect. I could go on and on, but again, in all fairness, it is as much the fault of our political governors as it is the fault of the previous political governors of Mexico who have done this to both countries. And both countries are to blame, not Mr. Cobb, not President Reagan. The only issue I ever had with Reagan was the amnesty. I don't think he should have given it, but in my opinion, he's one of the best presidents I've ever known. But I also kind of like Obama, too. I just don't really know that much about him.
All right. And Dan, you have the floor on that.
All right. Now, it was brought up about education and illegal immigrants. I feel that if we have illegal immigrants here and they have children in our schools, the children have a chance, at least eventually, to become good and profitable citizens. So I'm not exactly sure that we should be kicking them out. Now, as far as their parents paying some sort of penalty for them being here, I'm open to that. One of the things that I think should be considered as well is when it was brought up that we might be talking about removing a lot of illegal immigrants, a lot of the illegal immigrants started paying taxes. And for those that do pay taxes, I think that